Also this week in Tallahassee, the governor was pushing for Florida to pass a sweeping AI Bill of Rights. The proposal would have required chatbots to identify themselves as artificial intelligence. It would also have given parents direct control over how an AI can interact with their kids. The Florida Senate passed it overwhelmingly, but the House never took it up. So what was in it, and are Floridians protected at all when using AI at this point? What would you say, Mitch?
Well, I think really the components of that bill had a lot to do with protecting children, I believe. Is that correct, right?
Yes, it was.
And with chatbots and the like. I can tell you it wasn't a surprise in many ways that House Speaker Perez nixed this. Look, he has had direct communications with the White House. He said this. The White House doesn't want these type of bills. They don't like, they say it's a patchwork. We don't want to deal with it. It works for them. Big tech doesn't want this type of stuff happening. DeSantis, as we know, has been very emphatic. One of the leading governors in the country, I would say, in terms of really being concerned about the dark side of AI with this legislation, which he was really frustrated that the House dropped it on the first day of the special session earlier this week. But and whether they're going to be able to do anything with it. Again, there was another bill on data centers, of course, that did pass, right? That has some regulations in there. Probably not enough. A lot of people said this bill wasn't strong enough. There was one senator who voted against it. She said it didn't really go far enough.
This bill would ban the companion chatbot for minors without their parental consent. It would also require the bot to disclose that they are being used, which may sound like common sense, but when you're a child, you may not realize it unless it's expressly stated. And then it would also allow $50,000 in fines for any violations.
Yeah, so it's not happening though, right? So whether we'll, I think actually Sam Garrison, who's the incoming House Speaker, what he said this week was, we'll see, we're waiting on the feds to do their own regulation. If they don't, we can address it next year. Again, the Trump administration has been emphatic that and they have a lot of influence here in Florida with Florida Republicans that don't do this. Other states, as we know, have done this. It's interesting because Tallahassee is always kind of preempting the cities and local governments on actions. Here you have the state saying, no, federal government, you can go ahead and preempt us.
And Carney, would you say that federal or state is more effective in terms of being able to regulate AI?
So we have experience with both, even when you talk about risky matters. For example, aviation is mostly regulated on the federal level, and it is okay. Tobacco, to give another example, is also regulated on the state level. Each has its own advantages. I think that now with AI, the stakes are bigger and it could go both ways. So on the one hand, we need to protect people and especially children faster, which could go in the favor of state regulation. On the other hand, we have an interest of making sure that we promote AI innovation and take the lead, and this could go in the favor of federal regulation. I will say, though, that when it comes to the safety of children specifically, the executive order does allow state regulation. So perhaps if the bill focuses on that, this would be a ground for mutual agreement.
And Daryl, you were saying that the difference between federal and state could be between one law and 50 different ones.
Yeah, I mean, the whole history of this country is based on that argument. Should we have each state set their own policies and have 50 different laws, or should we have a federal government policy and then let the states sort of tweak with that federal policy? And there's good arguments for both ways. I mean, you have local control if the states do it, but they may miss some fundamental aspects of the process. And if the federal government does it, you have one general standard, and if the states don't like it, as I said, they can tweak it to their own needs.